Hey y'all, welcome to Horrible Gaming. My name is Nora, and on today's video we are playing some Animal Crossing. Over the next few days, unless something sticks sooner than that, we're going to be testing out a lot of different island entry ideas. Lately, I've been struggling with Animal Crossing burnout, and not because I don't want to play, but mostly because there's just so many awesome ideas that we can do for our next Animal Crossing island. And I'm very indecisive on what my next island plan is going to be, so I figured we would test out several different Animal Crossing island styles over the next few days to kind of see what draws me in and which theme sticks first. Just some themes in general just don't stick for me, or I don't feel confident doing, and I refuse to do themes that I know that I can't put my full 100% into, so I decided to scrap that island. So now we are back to square one, deciding what my next island is going to be, and sometimes it takes me a few days to go through this trial phase until I decide my next Animal Crossing island, and sometimes I even surprise myself with a theme I didn't think I was going to enjoy during this trial phase. I do have a couple other islands that I have been working on, but of course I've hit kind of a inspiration wall block with them. We've been working on a stray inspired island and also a natural forest, but I'm just not really inspired right now to pick those islands up, so sometimes just going into a new island is what gives me my Animal Crossing spark back. I actually really enjoyed today's build. I thought it was really nice and complemented all the fall tones. When I was originally going into today's video, I thought this would be a lovely way to transition into a city or maybe even like a castle theme. My last few Animal Crossing islands have actually had very natural entries that transition into a more structured look. I think this entry today could be wonderful for somebody who's looking to do something natural but also itching to do something more structured. So you have like this really nice natural entry that kind of has like a park vibe to it, but then it transitions into your city. So when I was going into today's video, I thought that this could be a lovely way on incorporating both Animal Crossing styles into one island. So when I'm doing perspective builds, I often get asked in the comment section like what the dimensions are for this, and to answer that question I kind of just go with the flow and wing the dimensions. I don't have like a set number that I go with. My biggest advice when doing perspective builds is to give yourself plenty of room to waterscape and adjust the dimensions, especially if you're wanting to do like a sitting area. But the biggest thing with perspectives is making sure you place your greenery correctly. That's what's going to give you the illusion that a build is further away. And the next important stage on a perspective is of course making sure that you place your water correctly too. You can have like a giant lake, but if you don't terraform correctly, it's not going to look like the build is further away in the distance. It's just going to look like you placed it there. So when I'm doing perspectives, one of the first things I think about is the greenery in front, and I like to do a combination of bushes and overgrown weeds, because if you place flowers right at the edge of the water, they will actually make your build appear closer than what you originally wanted, and it won't help capture that perspective look. So going into these type of builds, just keep your greenery really neutral and let the bushes kind of help blend out all the trees, and it'll help it appear further away. Anyways, near the entry I went ahead and added an incline, and that was the spot I was thinking you could actually have a transition over to something more structured or city-like. But before I even think about detailing in that location, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending out this dirt path and filling it in with different bushes and trees. I kind of struggled with figuring out how I wanted the entry to look, so I went ahead and transitioned where most of the decor got placed, so you can kind of start seeing how I blended everything out. I really wanted this entry to feel overgrown, so I took advantage of the autumn weeds and lots of different flowers. To fill in also some gaps in between the trees and bushes, I like to rotate between the wheat item too, just because it adds more of an overgrown look. Also mixing in different bushes and tree sizes help give that illusion that this is really natural and overgrown, so make sure you are rotating those tree sizes. For example, on the perspective, I'm only using stage 2 and 3 trees, and if you're new here, that's basically how many days the tree has been growing. So if your tree has been growing for 2 days, you kind of get like this shrub-like style, which is really good on making these little filler areas appear further away. And then the stage 3 is the day before the tree is fully grown, and this is just a little bit smaller than the larger trees. And again, it just adds a really nice dimension to the build, but it helps make that perspective also appear further away. I also like rotating between these tree sizes too in my entries and just in my natural areas as well, because if you just do into a bunch of full grown trees, it won't appear very natural. I also enjoy adding like different rocks too in between the bushes and trees because it just makes the build appear more natural and it gives it more texture. So definitely sneak in occasionally a different rock here and there instead of a bush, just because it'll really help achieve that natural look. So we made a lot of progress so far on the perspective. As you can see, I've definitely filled in other areas with different greenery. I also love using plant items to kind of hide the terraform a little bit better, and of course it gives you another tree to look at into the perspective. Also, as we work on the top level of the terraform, I want you to look closely at how I'm placing the wheat fields and the bushes and also the trees. Placing the wheat fields and bushes first will actually hide the tree's trunk and make it appear further away, and adding these wheat fields into the perspective too will hide any unwanted gaps in between the trees, so it'll help it feel a lot more full and mountainous like too. Anyways, I went ahead and added a few more trees on the top level, and this is how our lighthouse perspective build ended up turning out. Also, by the windmill, I added some stage 3 and 2 trees and then the full grown trees behind those just to kind of extend the landscape a little bit more. And of course, just like I mentioned earlier, we added in the bushes in front where the waterscape is just to fill in any unwanted gaps. But this is how everything turned out, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video today, and I also hope it gave you some Animal Crossing inspiration. Before today's video ends, I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me as a creator. Just your support in general means the absolute world to me. With that being said, thank you so much for watching and have a horrible day. I'll see you next video.